Next problem is called backspace string compare. We are given two strings s and t, and we have to return true if they are equal when both are typed into empty text editors. This special character here, the square brackets, basically means a backspace character. When we type a backspace character, that means that the element, that the character after it will be deleted. So basically, if we have a backspace here, and then we have inserted a, that will mean that we have an empty string. So basically, we are just removing the previous inserted character. So we know that after backspacing an empty text, the text will continue to be empty. So basically, when the backspace is applied on an empty string, the result is also an empty string. So we can have multiple of square brackets, the special characters, before having any character here. So in the example one, we have the following. So we have basically a, b, and then we have a square. So basically removing the last character b, and then inserting c. So we will have ac typed. The same goes for the string t. We will have a, and then a special character square bracket, and then we'll basically just delete d. So we will have a, and then insert c. AC is equal to ac, so we can just return true. Now, in the second example, we will have two backspaces, and so we will basically have an empty string. And then here we will first insert C, we will remove it, we will insert D, and then we will remove it. So we will have again an empty string. So we will basically just check if empty strings are equal, and they are equal. In the last example, we are removing the A, so we have C, but here we have B, and C is not equal to B, so we'll just return false. The lengths of S and T are from 1 to 200, and they only contain lowercase letters and the special backspace character. Now it's trivial to build, to basically perform the backspace operation on the strings and create a new string, clean string, sanitized string, basically, using a string builder or any other equivalent construction in another programming language. Here in Java, we have string builder, so we basically just create a new string, and then, for example, AB square bracket C would be just created as AC, and then we will just compare the final versions. But that means that we'll have additional space, and we will have n plus m, where basically n is the length of string S and the m string length of the string T. So we don't want that space complexity. We want to reduce the space complexity to 1. And to do that, basically, we can apply the two pointers approach again. And we will be applying a two pointers approach in the following way. So we will start from the end of the string, because we know if we find a bracket character, we know that the next character, when moving from right to left, so backwards, will be deleted. So it's easier to see it this way than to go, for example, C and then bracket. So go like in started way, because that means that we will have to look in the future, look ahead to see if this character will be still available. So that's the first trick. First trick is going backwards in the strings, both strings. And then the second trick is how do we actually find the next character for each strings that we will basically check the equality for. So we will we will have pointer I that's basically traversing the string S, and we'll have pointer J that's traversing the string T, and then we will move them as long as they are basically larger or equal to 0. So as long as they are part of the string boundary. Now, to find the next character that we want to compare, we will check if the current character that I is pointing to is a bracket. If it's a bracket, then we will have a special variable that we will call skip s chars. So basically, this variable will be initialized to 0, and we will increment it as anytime you face this bracket, because we know that that's how many characters we have to remove. And then if we find an element, a character that's lowercase, so there's not a bracket, we will check if this skip s chars is larger than 0. And if it is, we will basically just decrement it, and we will move our pointer I. So basically skipping the lowercase non-special character that we have. And we will do the same for J. So this will enable us to first skip the special characters and then skip the characters that we have to basically delete because of the backspace, because of the backspace that we had in the string. So we'll do the same for I and J, and we will find the next character. Then the first thing that we have to check is that the I and J are still valid, so if they are larger or equal to 0. And then we will check if the character at I position in the string S is the same as the character at the J position of T. And if they are not, then we know basically that the strings will not be matching. So we will just return false. And we will do that as long as basically both of them, we'll just trying to find the next characters to compare, as long as both I and J are larger or equal to 0. If, however, any of them is not larger or equal to 0, basically that means that we have a shorter string. One of the strings is shorter, that means that they are not equal, so we'll just return false. But if they are at the same time basically same, they are 0 or smaller than 0 in this case, that means that we have matched all of the characters at S and T, even after we have applied the backspace. So we can just return true in that case. Now the space complexity will be constant, and the time complexity will be basically corresponding to the shorter string. Let's just call it N. The shorter string, because we know that both I and J have to be larger or equal to 0. Basically, if you have a much shorter string, for example, string S, that means that we will be out of bound for string S much quicker, and the loop will basically then stop. The comparison will stop because we will just return false. So N in this case is the length of the smaller string. So first we will declare the I and J pointers, and we will set them to the end of the corresponding strings S and T. And then we will also declare the skip chars S and skip chars T that will basically increment as every time we meet a backspace special character in both of the strings S and T. Then we will perform the while loop, and we see here that we will have to have valid I or J, but we will have a more strict statement later in the loop, basically checking that both of them have to be inside the boundary, because if one of them is not, that means that we have a shorter string and we return false. Now we will we will try to find the next letter inside of the string S that we want to compare with the letter in string T. And to do that, we'll first check if the current letter at the position I is a backspace character, and if it is, then we will basically just increment the number of characters that we have to skip, and we will move to the next character in the string by just decrementing the I. If, however, the character is not a special character, we have a lowercase English letter, that means that we have to check if the skip chars is larger than 0. And if it is, that means that we have to skip that letter, because basically it will get removed. So we will just decrement the number of characters that we have to remove, and we will move our I pointer to the next character. Next, basically, if we have a letter, then and the skip chars is equal to 0, that means that we are not removing that letter, and basically that's the next candidate that we have to compare with the letter from the string T, which basically we do for string T too. So we'll basically perform just the same operation, moving the J pointer. Then we will check if both of them are still inside of the boundary. So just a stricter requirement now, and then check if they are both same. If they are not, then we'll just return false. Finally, we will check if if the strings are inside of basically one of the strings, one of the pointers is in the boundary, and the other one isn't, then we will return false. It's possible that they are after we decremented. It's possible that they are both inside of the that are both outside of the boundaries, basically means that we have to reverse all of the characters, both strings S and T, and they are all matching, so we'll just return true. But before we do that, we'll just decrement I and J to move to the next character, because we are done with the current character. And then finally, after we are done with the loop, that means that both I and J are out of bounds. They are smaller than 0, and they are pointing outside of the string. So we know that we have matched all of the letters, even after we have removed some of them using the backspace character. So we'll just return true.